Arsenal 0, Brighton 0 at the Amex this evening, and Brighton are unlucky. They're very unlucky not to walk away with all 3 points. The dominant force on the field of play. Arsenal fans, my big question to you this evening that we have to delve into, are you happy playing counter-attack football against Brighton? Counter-attack football against Brighton Football Club. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. An anti-climax for many Gooners after the brilliant 3 wins on the bounce, especially after smashing Tottenham in the North London derby. Does this feel like an anti-climax tonight? Brighton fans that are tuning in, I want to hear from you as well, because your team were exemplary tonight. Yes, you lack the star quality that the Arsenals and the Tottenhams, the Man Uniteds and Chelseas have up front. Liverpool City, of course. You lack that kind of gunman, that finisher at the front to put these chances to bed. We all know that. But Arsenal fans, I need to hear from you tonight. Are you happy with the way your team performed? Is this part of the plan and the process? Is this just an off night? Remember, the likes of Webster, Basuma, all missing from this Brighton team today, and yet dominated from front to back. I'd be happy with a point if I was an Arsenal fan in relation to the performance on the field of play, to walk away with something rather than nothing. Hit that like button before we go any further. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Lots of Gooners coming on the show tonight to have their say. Let's do this, people. Thank you very much for tuning in this evening. Comment here says 5 goals in 7 games, and people say top 4. Deluded is what Tarek's got to say here. Look, I just think, I don't even know if I should get into it. Me criticizing Arsenal has led to me being called a bully this week on social media. But fuck it, I'm going to say what I think and feel, because this is the Football Terrace. Arsenal got some very talented players, but I still don't think a massive corner's been turned. Brighton are a good footballing side. But my belief is this, and this isn't about Arsenal. With squads with the valuation of Tottenham, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool and City, you should not be getting dominated by Brighton, by Everton, by Aston Villa, by Newcastle, by Wolves. Ever. Actually, ever's an exaggeration. Every now and then. It's become too regular occurrence of all of our teams. But maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know what you think and feel. Phone up the show. We're going to share the link with you all very, very soon indeed. Arsenal's defence is good. It's a good away point, is what Grey Wolf's dinner has got to say there. And listen, I don't even know if it is today. And again, I don't want to sound too harsh. 21 shots, 21 attempts on goal. The issue tonight for Brighton is they only got 2 on target. If they had more accuracy in their shooting, it would have been a very different game indeed for Arsenal Football Club. And I just think a little bit more of a level-headed approach was needed. This performance was always going to come at some point. Are Arsenal are they on an upwards trajectory? I think they've improved from last season. I'm not going to deny that personally. But I just thought last week was a massive exaggeration in terms of top 4 being highly plausible this year and everything else. Look, Man United are not particularly great at the moment, but I'd say focus on yourselves in this regard. I just feel sorry for Brighton tonight in relation to that. Terry, stop being a bully. Sorry, peeps. I'm sorry, peeps. You know how it is. Do you know how it is? Bully man here. It's an East London thing, I think. I think it's because I've got a Cockney accent. It sounds aggressive. Don't know, maybe. I don't know what it is. Terry, stop making up narratives because United lost. Okay, I will not. You know what? Arsenal were brilliant. Arsenal were great tonight because Man United lost. No Arsenal fan, listen, let me tell you about real Arsenal fans. No Arsenal fan wants to be patted on the head like a fucking dog. Oh, it's okay. I won't say nothing bad about your team because my team's not very good. How does Man United being bad deter from Brighton and Arsenal's performance tonight? Come on, you pleb. Grow up. Grow up. I love that scene. I love that scene from the In-Betweeners. The grow up scene is brilliant. There we go. AFTV are blaming the rain. I'm going to tune in later. Do you know what I mean? Man Like Wax Online coming on soon. Jess is backstage. Gunnar Souls is backstage as well. Want to get them on very, very soon to have their say on the Football Terrace. I want to do some more of your comments first. Arteta better than Tuchel. I don't know what. That's a weird one. That's a weird comment. Come on. If you're going to do banter, the banter's at least got to be good. Some good banter, please. Some good banter here. If Laka played, it would have been a different game. Look at how the game changed for us when he came on. Courtney, that is bang on. You had that period of about 10 to 15 minutes after Lacazette came on, and you were dangerous. You know, Pepe was really driving at people. I thought Aubameyang had an awful game tonight, but was it the fact that you decided not to press for the majority of the game? Why? Why do Arsenal, and these are some of the questions I'm going to pose to the panel when they come on, when Wax and Souls and Jess come on. Why was there no press tonight from Arsenal for large proportions of the game? Why did they sit back so regularly during this game? Why did the changes take so long? Surely this Arsenal team, even pound for pound, fancies itself against Brighton. They're my questions tonight for Gooners. Great point made there by Courtney. Absolutely agree with you. Paul Ross says, thought you lot were back. Apparently we kept hearing. Who never knew this was coming? Wow, scratching your cheeks. Effing deluded fan base. My God. Let me just say, it wasn't all Arsenal fans that said it. Some were just celebrating the win last week as an example. Lots, i.e. Wax that's coming on, I know, hasn't said they're back. Gooner Express who's coming on, hasn't said they're back. Jess hasn't said they're back. Like, praising your team's performance and saying you're back's one thing. I get a gal's coming, title-winning defenses and people talking about top four. I just felt it was premature, although some people predicted it before the beginning of the season. Arsenal were piss poor today, is what Jerome Pierre has got to say. And I think most Gooners would agree with you, my friend. I think most Gooners would agree. Dinesh says, I don't know why Arsenal fans can win 5 games in a row. Recent history says only Liverpool and Man City have gone and won 5 or more in a row. That's also very true. I didn't think about that until you said it. It's very difficult to do at the moment in the Prem. Very difficult indeed. Arsenal fans are going to blame the rain, the ref, and Manchester United for cheating years ago for the performance. Lol. Terry, if Aubameyang went to Brighton, he could probably get Brighton into the top 6. Listen, if Brighton had... I was thinking about it during the game. If Brighton had more goal scorers, they'd be a really good team. I actually want to speak to Spurs fans for a moment here. I know it's an Arsenal stream, but I want to speak to Spurs. It is Arsenal. Where's the badge? Where's the Football Terrace Arsenal emoji? There it is, the badge. I've got to put the badge up. Sorry, I forgot, right? Let me say this. Spurs fans that turned their nose up at Graham Potter, shame on you. And it boils down to why so many English players, Emil Smith-Rowe, Ben White, even Harry Kane, they get ridiculed because of their passport. Because they're English, it's, no, don't need them, don't want them. Graham Potter, technically as a manager, is one of the best in the Premier League. Is a club like Man United too big a jump? To go from Brighton to Man United, I think with everything that comes with it, the Beatlemania effect, the pressure's hard. A club like Tottenham would be perfect for Graham Potter. He'd play the best football they've ever had in the Premier League era. I think he could actually get Spurs playing better football than Poch did. Who knows whether he's got a winning mentality, but I think it's worth a punt. Shame on Tottenham fans that didn't want him. They were like, ugh, he ain't fashionable. If he wasn't English or British, they'd be chomping at the bit for him. The football they play is exemplary, and they do it with average elite level players. They ain't doing it with any superstars. Who's after Brighton's? Byron Basuma, he weren't playing today. Who's after Brighton's players? Who's trying to sign them all? Excellent manager tonight. Excellent manager. No doubt about it whatsoever. Absolutely brilliant. Brighton and them, man, are legit better than Tottenham. Agree. They are better than Tottenham right now. Aaron, one of our members, says Arsenal always their own worst enemy. Setting up like that against Brighton is criminal. Abs here says Graham Potter is a quality manager. Absolutely. And James here says that Potter is an underrated manager. I couldn't agree with you more. And as I've said, I stand by it. I don't care who it offends. If he wasn't English stroke British, he would be absolutely lauded. Lauded. Look how the world fell in love. Do you know what I mean? With Marco Silva. Graham Potter's leagues in front of him. Leagues and leaps and bounds in front of him. There's no love. It happens all the time when you have English managers come through, young English players. They're just ridiculed like nobody else. It's honestly, it's not even an illness. It literally is criminal. I swear xenophobia is illegal in this country. But that's just my thoughts anyway. People might disagree. Didn't expect Brighton to do this well so far. They'd be doing even better if they had strikers, if they had some attackers that could put the ball in the back of the net. But I do want to speak to Gooners tonight. I want to know what you're thinking and feeling. Wax, Souls, Egal, Samuel, and Jess all joining me in the panel in a few moments' time. Let's get this stream past 500 likes while we're live on the air, people. Keep them super chats coming as well. Terry, I thought Chelsea weren't great today, but got lucky with the red card and individual brilliance from Barkley. Your thoughts, please. Definite red card. And we can't start calling good passes in approach play individual brilliance. Otherwise, that makes Barca and Man City's brilliant teams all about individual brilliance, because if you didn't have Xavi and Iniesta and you put in Lee Catamol, it wouldn't work. Like, we have to say, yes, they've got quality players, but Chelsea with a better team had the majority of the chances. So, yeah, I wouldn't call it individual brilliance at all, my friend. I think that's a stretch. There's individual brilliance within every move from a team. I would say generally individual brilliance is your team's playing awfully, and then your striker scores a 30-yard screamer against the run of play. If it's really good build-up play and there's a world-class pass within it, that's not individual brilliance. That's the team. So the Spurs win was Amazon only, Terry. They knew that let's not play it down. It was probably in the match day booklet, let's be real. Are you saying that? Okay, the overreaction was for the Amazon thing. I kind of think that's what you're saying there. Maybe my dyslexic brain isn't reading that comment correctly. But thank you. Negative. Get Arteta out is what Kieran's got to say in the comment section here. I'm going to bring the panel on now to have their say. I want to know what they're thinking and feeling. Where's the buttons I need? Let's do this. I haven't got everyone in. I didn't press all the buttons in time. There we go. Just as I got in time. Sorry, my fingers aren't working. I'm a bottle and a half. 1.5.
Sounds weird. It sounds weird.
The audio is gone, Terry.
My audio? That's somebody else's audio.
I have my echo cancellation on.
That's Wax's audio. I don't know what that noise is. It's coming from Wax's line. It's coming from Wax's line. It sounds like a Hoover or something. I don't know what it was, but yeah, evening all. I want to go to Jess first. Get your thoughts and feelings on that performance, really, and result for Arsenal.
Oh my gosh, I can't even say we got away with it because it doesn't feel like it. It just feels so bad. I think Graham Potter is a really good manager. I don't know who's out here thinking that he's not. He is a really good manager, and he outcoached Arteta today. Arteta got it completely wrong from the beginning with his tactics. I don't think the lineup was bad. I think the tactics were bad. When you set up a team initially to not press at all, it just sends the wrong message. And every time that Bukayo or Emile Smith-Rowe just pressed one of their players, they got the ball off of them. So I think Potter's a great manager, but I won't say that Brighton are so technically gifted that we can't press them at all. They're not Man City, so I think he got that wrong. But Arteta, he has a pattern of when he rates the manager from the other team, he sits off. He tends to sit off and get scared, and he's really risk adverse. So when he plays against Klopp, Pep, now Graham Potter, you see that we take this negative viewpoint. And I think that it takes a toll on the players. They want to go, but they're being told to kind of sit back in this shape, and they're getting overrun. What you saw with Nuno and Spurs, and even like the times that we played Manchester United, I don't think he rates those managers high enough. And then he's like, okay, we can just play over them, and he got it wrong today. And then I think the players played into it by not being up for the game. And it's not about the slick pitch or the rain or anything like that. It's just, we just weren't up for it. We just weren't up for it at all. And I think it starts out with the tactics and knowing that they were going to be overran by a really well-coached Brighton team. They deserved all 3 points. We got 1. And I would just say for anybody that's saying, oh, well, we overreacted, we overplayed it, getting a draw against Brighton at this point is not really an indication of anything. If we lose the next 2 games, then yeah, we overplayed it. But we got the point. We didn't deserve it, but we move on to the next game. But Arteta definitely got it wrong.
I hear you on that. Gal, obviously, you've been someone that's been very sort of positive this week, and rightfully so in large quarters. Beating your North London rivals, I think, is something to celebrate. There's no doubt. There's been a lot of talk, though, this week, not all by you, but by a lot of people, you in your field, around sort of the corner being turned, the trajectory moving forward. When you see performances like tonight, the negativity, playing counter-attack away at Brighton, how does that make you feel as an Arsenal fan? Is that part of the progression? Is it a bad night? How would you assess that?
Honestly, I feel like when it comes down to it, the first 20 minutes, I felt like we played well. I honestly think the first 20 minutes we played well. And then after that, the game swung. We gave them all the possession. The next 30 minutes of that the next, what do you call it, 15, 20 minutes of that first half, we completely lost ourselves. We lost the way we were playing. We gave them too much of the possession. We respected them too much, and it set a precedent for the rest of the game, where once the game swung and they took more of the possession and they kept it, that's how we played for the rest of the game. And the biggest mistake I feel like we made was early in the game, when we had the first 10 minutes where we were playing well, which we always do against every team. Even Man City, we had a good 4 minutes before we conceded the first goal. So we could have taken advantage of Saka being slipped in behind. We could have taken advantage of Kieran Tierney overloads with Smith Rowe on the left-hand side, but we didn't do that. And eventually we kept giving them too much of the possession. We kept respecting them too much, dropping deeper and deeper into our own defensive setup, which ended up making the game negative. But in my opinion, a lot of their shots, which Brighton have had in this game, were nothing shots. Everyone looks at the creativity and says, oh, they created more than you. They've done more than you. Yes, they did have chances. Yes, they did get good opportunities, but a lot of their shots were nothing shots. We watched this game, you watch it back, I would say at least 8 or 10 of those shots were in the sky and they were nowhere near target. And when it comes to even chances, in the first half, it was quite even before you look at the grand scheme of things. In the first half, it was more even than in the second half. In the second half, nobody was controlling the game. Brighton were at home. They had the fans backing them, and that gave them the extra push. In my opinion, this game, either team could have won it because nobody was clinical. Nobody was clinical.
No, Egal, listen. Look at the periods of the game. Brighton done more than us. Look at the first 20 minutes. Brighton dominated. We were scared of Brighton.
Yes.
Look how they look scared. The whole team looked scared.
But barring the mistake that Ramsdale made from the corner and another chance that they got late in the game, did they really have a clear-cut chance to score?
When they did with the
I mean, here's the thing, when you start talking about okay, well, the shot wasn't on target and stuff like that, some of those were still near misses. I just feel they dominated the majority of the play, and they were old Brighton, where they had all the ball. They played really well. They just didn't finish their chances. I personally feel like we had about collectively 20 minutes of that game where we were in the game. And even at that point, it was very even. We weren't dominated. We never had a dominant period. We were really, really poor. And I maybe I need to go back and watch it, but those first 20 minutes, we were outplayed from the minute that the game started. Yes. We were.
Yes, on that as well. Look at our passing accuracy from tonight. It's 75%. That is incredibly
really
low.
Bad.
I have to say, Gal, to your point, they had 12 shots from inside your box. The fact that they weren't accurate was to the point. They don't have a gunman. They don't have a finisher. They don't have someone that has a legit clinical edge. My concern, and I know you're trying to play this down, and I understand why. If you play against a team with 3 or 4 better level football players, you get slapped tonight. If you were playing Chelsea tonight, if you were playing,
I disagree.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. If you were playing Chelsea, Man United, Everton, if you were playing even Wolves with the likes of Jimenez and stuff up front, if those chances fall to those types of players, if they fall to Rashford's, Cristiano Ronaldo's, Cavani's, if they fall to Harry Kane, Son, they're burying some of those opportunities, in my opinion, because they weren't one-on-one, 2 or 3 yards out chances, but they were good opportunities from inside the box, and they were just poor finishes. There was an opportunity from a corner that fell. I want to say it was Duffy or it was Dunk, and it was an easy after the ball was dropped and it skies over. There was loads like that. I think it's for me to not be concerned by how much you were opened up tonight by Brighton when Brighton don't have world-class players. I'd be concerned. I'd like to get Wax's opinion on this, mate. What was your thoughts on the performance tonight? Do you agree with a Gal that actually it was a lot of pop shots from nowhere, or do you feel more that you were sort of taken apart a bit?
Yeah, we were definitely taken apart, man. We were taken apart from start to finish. They were dominating possession, moving the ball around swiftly. They were much more sharper than us and definitely wanted it more than Arsenal. I'm really, really surprised because I actually thought, our system was to press. So why would we scrap it? Why would we not go out there the same way we went out against Tottenham, press them, move quick with the ball, try and just make something happen? I think all the players just lost their balls today. Didn't have their socks pulled up. And it was just a devastating result, man. To be honest, it feels like a loss. It actually feels like a loss.
It does.
The game against it is. You know what? It actually shows you how poor Tottenham are at the moment as well. Because we went out against Tottenham, we looked like we had transformed. We looked like a brand new team. And there's a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, we've turned the leaf. Where this is what we're going to be seeing from now on." And I just didn't want to overgas it. I just knew that when we go against Tottenham, we're usually on the ball. We usually want to pull our socks up and do stuff in those games. But this was the real test to me. Going against Brighton, if we could come out and perform the way we did against Tottenham, then I thought, you know what, maybe we are turning a new page. Maybe we are doing something new. But this was predictable. And I just knew that, you know, based on the way we were starting, we weren't getting nothing out of this game. We're lacking with creating chances, lacking with trying to score goals. And it's just devastating, man. I just want to know why, like, where did the momentum go? Like, where did the confidence from last week go? You know, why would you scrap your plan when you know, Mikel Arteta loves pressing, and in almost every single game we like pressing, but today against Brighton we just was just non-existent when it comes to pressing. I really don't get it.
Because he rates Potter, man. Like when he rates the manager, he sits back and does not play against them. You can tell he rates Potter very highly. You can tell. He was so risk adverse today, and he does that against Pep. He does it against Klopp. He does it against the better managers. And not to say that Manchester United and they don't have good players and stuff, but you can tell when he feels like he doesn't have the edge. He goes very risk adverse.
I agree, Jess, and that for me that's why I said that if you were against a better team with better players today and you played this way, you would have got slapped, because imagine those chances fall into the Liverpool front line. You'd have got beat five. You could have got beat 5 or 6-0 tonight.
I hear that.
Gary, I think the worst part is that I don't think Brighton have better players than us. I think that's my issue, is that they don't. Player for player, they don't have better players than us. They have Arteta got out coached, and like he has to be a better manager against these teams, or else we're going to lose to Dean Smith. You know, he'll go in and lose to him. He'll lose against, well, maybe not Patrick Vieira. Maybe he will. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, we have the better players. Like, he needs to trust it. It's weird.
I'm just saying, as bad as the first half was, the second part of the first half, and how bad we were throughout the game, when you look back at the grand scheme of things and you actually look at the chances that both teams had, obviously they had more possession. Obviously they're at home. They created a lot of half chances that could have scored. But I felt like the two most dangerous chances we had, and we could have just won and sneaked out with a win. In my opinion, that is not good enough for our standard. There's no excuses why we didn't win. I'm not excusing why we didn't win. I'm not saying this is a good result, but in the grand scheme of things, we will look back at this game and we'll be like, you know what? Maybe because of how high we were at the North London Derby, we're expecting too much from these guys this game.
Yeah.
No, once you see it, you can't lower the expectations. Like once you see somebody perform, I mean, we didn't even perform 50% to what we did against the North London Derby. It was like 20 something. I mean, it was 10. Like I expect a little bit. No, I expect a little bit of drop off, because of course the adrenaline, but the levels, I mean, we're talking about going 100% and then dropping down to maybe 20-25%. That is huge. Like it's unacceptable the way that they play.
We do this every year, Jess. It's not like you guys haven't seen this before. We go and we face Tottenham, we face Manchester United, we face anybody else in the Premier League top teams. We raise our levels to that team, and when we face lesser teams, we underestimate them, and we either lose or we draw.
Egal, two things on that. I want to say. I want to go to Gunnar Souls. He's sitting there waiting very patiently. What I would say is this: when people said to you last week that you always do this against Tottenham, don't get overexcited, you shot them down and told everyone they're being haters and everything else, and you've just admitted it yourself. Secondly, that's not a good enough excuse. And I say that about Man United. If you can prove generally when you go 1-0 down that you can play, use patterns, show intensity, and break teams down, there is no excuse not to do that when it's 0-0 or when you're winning. It's a mentality issue, and that stems from the management of your football club and the ethos that is drilled into them. The way, yes, Tottenham's midfield was non-existent last week, and it was like a hot knife through butter. So I guarantee that made it a bit easier. But player for player, pound for pound, I don't think you would swap. In terms of the starting 11 tonight, you wouldn't swap a single player in their team for yours. Yet they looked better than you. That's not a player issue. That's a management and coaching and system issue. And it's the only reason I said last week, slow down a little bit. And I've seen this with my club many times. I've used this example on 100 streams. we were struggling under LVG, and we went through this 4-game period where we battered Tottenham, we battered Liverpool, Anfield, and then we battered City, and then I think we beat Arsenal. And it was like, oh my God, LVG's football's clicked. We then won like one of our last 5-6 games after the next 5-6 games after that, and I hit the ground so hard because I thought we'd landed. I'd say wait a bit longer. Gunnar Souls, I'd love your take on the performance tonight. What was missing from Arsenal? Was it personnel? Was it intensity? What went wrong in your opinion?
It's the same thing I said when we lost to Brentford. It's why have you started to not rely on everything you've instilled in this team? The press was gone. The mentality wasn't there. It just seemed like no one was up for it. It's just, if you're going to play those tactics, you change that front line. You play Lacazette, you bring Pepe in. But you played a system that doesn't suit the attackers. You stopped with the pressing, which is what ESR, Saka are known to do. It's even what Odegaard's known to do, but he didn't press this game. And you don't do that. If you're going to play with this sort of, I'm not even going to say pragmatic football, but if you want to play on the counter, you bring in someone who can hold up the ball. Aubameyang can't do that. And then secondary, why the hell are you playing Lokonga and Partey when you never bought them to play together? Why are you doing that? You had such a good system going for you for 3 games, and then you decide, you know what? Fuck it. Everyone's backing me now. I'm deciding to fuck my system, fuck everything I've relied on that got me the 3 games. And it's like he does this every time. It's like as soon as he starts...
Oh, he had no choice to play Lokonga.
No, he can play Elneny. He can play Maitland now.
No, not even that.
I'm not having this. I'm not having this. No.
Wait, you would rather have Elneny?
You want Elneny in the team? Oh my!
Wait, hold on.
Slow down.
I'll tell you why. What was the one thing we were missing? Control in that game. Yes, Elneny's not going to give you a 50-yard banging pass that Xavi and Iniesta can produce, but what he does offer you is control. The thing is, we were taking too many risks, in my opinion. Partey, Lokonga are too similar.
He could have played with a single pivot. He's done that before.
Yes,
I mean, that's how we played.
The same problem with Elneny. I don't think we get dominated in midfield.
I think with
the, I'm going to get game this, but we miss Xhaka. We did miss Xhaka today.
You can't play a double pivot unless you have Granit in there. That's the thing.
No, but for me, Elneny offers you that at least.
I don't think it's an Elneny issue. I don't think we needed solidity. I think we needed to play.
Sorry, guys, one at a time. Sorry, guys, one at a time. What are you saying, Samuel?
No, Arsenal fans have goldfish memory because if you go back to last year when Elneny played a stretch of games, we got dominated and we went on a 10-game winless run. So I don't know where this is coming from. When Lokonga played against Norwich and against the first 3 games we lost, he was our best player, and everyone was like, "Oh no, we should start with Partey and Lokonga. Let's play them." And now you say, "Oh, it's a joke."
But he played with ANC Maitland now. It's not with Partey. That's the difference. Because when the thing is, when you have a midfield that's literally identical, you're going to have the same issues. Partey is not this defensive monster people think he is. Lokonga's positional awareness is not as good to play that role. We did get exposed in midfield and we get overrun. That's why I'm saying you play someone like, not Maitland now, but an Elneny. Just be a bit pragmatic, be a bit safe because we lost control in the midfield.
Go on, Jess.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is that, like, I think we're getting too caught up on personnel and stuff like that. I personally just think that the tactics in terms of what we were meant to do on and off the ball was wrong, and then Brighton caught wind of that and they took advantage. Like, whether you have Elneny in there or not, like, we just didn't show up. And that's because the manager had risk-adverse way of playing. And I think if you play Elneny, that's even worse. I feel personally, for me, if it was not Lokonga and Thomas, it should have been the single pivot with Odegaard and Smith Rowe in the midfield. Like, that would have been a little bit more positive. And I think when you go into a North London derby and you play so positive and then you go really negative in the next game, you throw the players off. He has to keep some consistency. So he has not played Sambi and Thomas together. Why would you do that today? Not sure. Don't think it was horrible, but still, I think it's more about what you're supposed to do on and off the ball, and we just did horribly.
Do you think any of this could be? I'm not saying he's done this. Maybe he has. Fan pressure, because when the announcement of Xhaka's injury came out, I saw for 2 straight days Lokonga's name trending, and a lot of the negative Arsenal. I'll say negative. A lot of the Arsenal fans that are anti Mikel Arteta are like, no, he's going to play Elneny. It's going to be boring. He's not going to play Lokonga. And then he does. And then he plays him in a system that doesn't really work with him and Partey next to one another. Do you think that's played any part in it, or is it just he's gone with it, it hasn't worked, and it won't be used again? What do you reckon, Wax? Is there like social pressure that's gone into that, or just bad decision making from the manager?
I just think it's bad decision making, to be honest, man. I think the preparation for this week has obviously been poor. He hasn't prepared the team right. He's probably analysed Brighton a bit too much, and like Jess said earlier, he's just he's just kind of feared them a little bit, and he just hasn't prepared the team right. Clearly, I mean, it's basically the same team that we played with against Tottenham. We just put Lokonga in there. All week, I've actually been seeing many Arsenal fans screaming for Lokonga to be the replacement for Granit Xhaka. And he's come in, and I wouldn't say he was bad, but, it just didn't work. So for me, it's down to preparation. It's down to team talk. It's down to manager just getting it wrong, in my opinion.
Also on that point, Wax, this is different from any other season. We don't have any more midweek games anymore. We're playing one game a week.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We've had over a week to prepare. And
so why aren't we pressing? They should have been running their socks off.
I mean, Odegaard and Aubameyang absolutely non-existent today. I don't know what was going on.
We need a striker. Anybody who says that we don't need one needs to rewatch this game. We need a freaking striker. We need something else.
I want to ask Egal a question on that, and I'm asking you because they're points you've made in the past. You kind of said your benefit this season over everybody else is you're playing one game a week. Does that make it even more frustrating when you're this lackluster? Like, who do you blame for that? Because there's no champions. I'm not giving that excuse to Man United. We were shocking today, but we had a midweek game. That's why we rotated our team. You don't have that issue. Like, who's to blame for that?
Honestly, Terry, there's no excuses. We should not be performing at this level against any team, even a team that's performing better than us, and drop our intensity that much. It's something that's happened in the past, and I can't even draw to mentality issue because it's not the same players from a couple of years back. I honestly don't know why we've dropped our intensity, why we've gone from 0 to 100. The only thing I can say is that was a North London derby. This was a regular season. This was a regular game versus Brighton, and the players were just not as up for it, and they didn't have the fans driving them, and that might take a toll. Some of these guys need to be motivated on the pitch consistently, and also Smith Rowe and Aubameyang had two clear-cut chances to still win this game, which they messed up, and no one has yet mentioned. I want to mention that clearly. If they were a little bit more clinical today, we still could have got something out of this game. I don't want to forget that. I don't want anyone to forget that point. It's not a delusional point. I see a lot of people in the chat dead serious. If Arsenal today had their shooting boots on, Aubameyang or any other striker, when they see the defender misses the cross, they're gonna tap it in. Also, if you have a 2-on-1 and you're any footballer and you have a Pepe on your side and you can cross it in, you take the shot across the box when you've been pushed out. No, you're supposed to either try to stop and maybe make the square for Pepe or do something. Hold up.
If Brighton had their shooting boots on, we would have been down 3-4.
We know.
Come on.
Let's not say if Brighton had their shooting boots on, because we know Brighton. This is Brighton's history. They've done this last year. They've done this consistently.
No, earlier on the
season.
season.
We've been banging goals for the whole season.
Arsenal Football Club should not be this lackluster, this non-clinical. Brighton, this is what we expect from Brighton. They're not a team at our level. They are currently above us in the league, but they're not at our level.
They scored more goals than us this season.
Right. Do you know what, Egal, you're right on Brighton and the levels thing, but I think you're kind of missing what people's frustration is with. People are not overt. Of course, they're frustrated with losing today, but the issue is if it's Brighton that are doing this to you, what are better teams going to do? That's the frustration, bro. All Arteta really needs to do. But you say, sorry, Sols. You say if you perform like this, this is how you've been performing for nearly 2 years on a regular basis under Mikel Arteta. It's why I said the other day, and I got shot down for it, but I'm not embarrassed by what I say, and I'll stand by it. 2 or 3 good performances at the beginning of the season cannot undo a 2-year body of work. The improvement hasn't been significant enough yet at this moment in time to discard the past. There has to be a significant improvement for a prolonged period of time. I understand there are all these little caveats of this period here when we had our fully fit team, and this period here where we didn't play any of the big teams, or this period here when it was a total eclipse. I don't know what the reasons are, but they're not good enough because you have to factor in everybody else's problems in those time periods as well. When you look at your total points and everything else, it becomes overtly complicated. And if an equation to prove you're better than you really are is overtly complicated, it's bullshit in
You
real
know what,
football.
Terry?
It's bullshit
Terry?
in real football. And I
Terry?
just think a few people have got a little bit ahead of themselves instead of saying, I'm happy with winning 3 on the bounce, but let's check ourselves and let's go one game at a time. I think that's what's happened here, in my humble opinion.
Can I just say one thing quickly, guys? I feel like as Arsenal fans, we were so down after losing 3 games in a row, coming back and winning 3 games, and now after that last international break, not losing a single game, getting 1 draw and 3 wins. In the grand scheme of things, if we were to ask us that before this run, everyone would have been happy with that.
I mean,
You know what I think it is?
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Wax.
Jess. I just think it's a lack of experience, not only from the managers, but also from the players. We've got a bunch of young players. Yeah, these are really, really young players. If you go and look at Brighton's team, a bag of experience. Now we can understand why Ben White was so good for Brighton. He's got Lewis Dunk, he's got Dan Burns, and players like that understand the league, that have been in the Premier League for quite some time. They orchestrate their defense very, very well. And they had a bunch of players like that in their team, experienced players, regardless of their quality, whether they're top notch or whatnot. They have got experience. And when you use a bunch of young players, you're going to burn them out, as we know, and they are going to be inconsistent where they don't have the influences around them to show them how it's done. All we've got is Thomas Partey and Aubameyang, who are experienced.
You have Thomas Partey, Wax. You have Thomas Partey, and that's it. Aubameyang is a great player, but it is just not. I'm sorry, Souls.
He doesn't have leadership material.
No,
he's not.
Wax.
He's not it.
Sorry, you're bang on, Wax. And again, people think I'm always having a go at Arsenal. I'm talking football here. I'm going to find the clip from Gary Neville where he speaks about the class of '92, and he speaks about. He wasn't talking about Arsenal, but he was talking about. This was about the start of last season, and maybe the season before that. And he was talking about how, well, are these current young United players going to do what the class of '96 did, class of '92 did? And he essentially said, probably not, because we were surrounded in Peter Schmeichel in goal, Pallister, Bruce, Cantona, Robson. We had, at the time, world-class established senior pros to guide those young players through. United have built that now. Now, we ain't delivering because we don't have a good enough manager. Squad-wise, we're good. That's why people like me have gone to this point now where it's like, get the manager out and get someone good in because we are ready to go. I worry about Arsenal's youngsters. I rate Smith Rowe massively. I think Saka's one of the best young talents in Europe, as an example. Tomiyasu that's come in. I voted him as Player of the Month. I think he's excellent. I think Ben White gets so much criticism that is undeserved towards him as a player. Martinelli's very talented, but they're the best players in your team. And when you're the best players and you're young and you don't have those elder statements to lead you, you can become lost. It doesn't matter who your manager is. Your development can become curtailed. I would be worried about that because I can't find an example in history where the best players in the team are predominantly the youngsters. There's no established elder statesmen around them, and they've gone on to do great things. This reminds me of the early stages of Leeds United under David O'Leary. Youngsters won't notice. They had all these youngsters, the Alan Smiths and all these Hearts, and everyone's like, wow, look at this young squad. They didn't have the elder statesmen around them to push them forward. Rio was part of that squad, and it didn't quite work. It fell apart. You need that, and that's what maybe it's a next summer job. Next summer, 2 or 3 signings have got to be stars to add to this, and that's what Arsenal should be doing. And that would be my worry though about these players being burnt out. It really would be.
And I give some credit though to Ramsdale. Ramsdale saved our bacon today. He saved us. With that save, I don't think Leno would get to that ball personally. I don't think what some of the decisions that Ramsdale is making during the game, it's not only about his distribution. He's a great shot stopper now. It looks like it. I'm not saying great, like all-time great. I'm just saying he's been great for us. And that's 1 goal conceded since he's come in. And you know what? That is something to maybe give a little bit of credit to. And as bad as everybody talks about Arsenal, guess what? We are starting to see some signs from our defense. That's all I'm saying.
You got on that point as well. Ramsdale, Ben White, and Gabriel the only players today that can hold their heads up high. The rest of the team weren't good enough. These 3 men single-handedly saved us from holding it out today. The last 10 minutes where Ramsdale jumped out, like Egal mentioned, getting that ball. Ben White during the corners, being able to head the balls out. So in the past 2 games, since Gabriel's come back, our defense looked better. It's just everywhere else on the pitch that we've looked poor.
Yeah, I've got some super chats I've got to do here. Have you got to shoot, Jess? Have you got to shoot? Because I know you got your.
No, I just had a little point. But
go make your point. Then do your point. Then I go to the super chats. Cool.
No, all I was gonna say was that you guys are spot on. That it's not a coincidence that the one position that we've had the most surgery in defense is our best. Like, we still have major work to do in midfield, and we have barely even touched the front line. Now, what Terry said was really important is that, you know, we have to be worried about these young players, because I look at that team and I'm excited about it because I know that they're really talented. But in order for us to get those next 2, 3, 4 signings that are going to take us to the next level, guess what? We have to be in Europe. And the teams that we're playing against, we have to be able to take points off of them because they're above us. You know, Aston Villa's above us. Brighton was above us. Like, if we're not taking points off of them and Arteta's going to make these mistakes, we're just going to kind of flounder around mid-table. So I don't think we can really look at the players and say that they made mistakes. We know Aubameyang's whatever he is. We know the young players are whatever they are. And we don't have enough senior players. But this is the time where we need to really evaluate Mikel Arteta. Like, can he take points off of the teams above us? Because if he doesn't, right now we're mid-table. We could legitimately stay there if we continue to play like this. So I think players good, management inconclusive. You know, it's whether or not Arteta can move with the project. You know, he has to get better. And that's why I don't like a project that's contingent on the manager getting better as well, because we already have too many pieces that need to get good. And he's just kind of there. You know, if you're scared of Potter, what are you going to do? Like, you know what I mean? But it is what it is.
I hear you on that. I've got some super chats. We've got ShoXstar and Gooner Express backstage coming on very soon with us. I've got some super chats. I didn't want to miss these. I might not get them all up on the screen because I had left it a bit too long. But Coca, we'll go back to these in a minute. It says, Egal, why are you always disgracing yourself? The team played badly. What the F are you talking about? Stop making excuses. You are so up and down, bro. Hamid says, Egal, you're getting schooled. Listen instead of always trying to speak. Be respectful with the comments as best you can, people, please. Deborah says, Arsenal players go to Chelsea to win trophies. Chelsea players go to Arsenal to retire. Ronald Koeman is available from Barcelona. Thank you very much, Deborah.
Well, he's not getting fired. Laporta's already come out and said he's backing him.
In fairness, it's really not Koeman's fault. It's the way they run their football club. But Red Wolf says both teams had players unavailable. It can't be used as an excuse. Reality is Arsenal were caught asleep in this game. Dare I say with the super chat here has said, Origi would do well for Arsenal right now. I think he's obviously having a joke. Paul Ross says we had young players and got top 4, then fired Lampard. The year after we won the Champions League, no excuse not to be having it. So what's the problem? Paul Ross, what I would say is this. You did have youngsters, but you still had the likes of Aspi.
Aspilicueta, Jorginho, Kovacic.
Kante. Like, if you took Aspi 2 years ago, Kante 2 years ago, Giroud as another one, and a few other those elder Chelsea players, Rudiger's, and stuck them in this Arsenal team, I would legitimately sit here and say you could make top 4, even with Arteta as your manager. That level of world-class, or very good to world-class talent, old, experienced, level-headed players. You remember, your brain doesn't fully form as a human being until you're 25 years-ish of age. Like your cognitive, the front of your brain, your decision-making, it's a fact, scientific fact. Your brain
am I still
25?
stupid?
And when you're
stupid until I'm 25.
In and around 25, do the research on the brain. Until around about 25 years of age, your brain is still developing in terms of it. Like, when I heard that, I was like, they got to re-increase that drinking and driving age when I read that. But I heard some doctor on the Joe Rogan podcast say it. So he's a neurosurgeon. I trust him. That's all I'm saying. Neurosurgeon, do you know what I mean? Like, if he's wrong, then he's wrong. But that's what I read. He's got to be 25. Chelsea fan here, lover of the game as well. Terry's point about mentorship around Smith Rowe, Saka, and Odegaard is worrying. If Arsenal are not careful, they'll be poached by Europe's elite, and that is what will happen. And again, just so in case there are any Arsenal fans watching, think I'm hating on Arsenal, said the same. You don't obviously need to watch more Terry shows, because it's my biggest fear at Man United that we lose the likes of Greenwood, we lose the likes of Rashford, we even lose the likes of Bruno that are older to our rivals and European giants, because they should, as players. I'd be disgusted at Rashford. I'm sorry to say it's Rashi. If you stay at Man United for life and we ain't winning, as a sportsman, I'm looking at you different. As a sports person, you should be willing to leave. Like, listen, my brother was my coach when I was a fighter and I weren't winning with him. I'm going to sack him. In fact, I sacked my own brother when I was a manager of a phone shop and he weren't hitting target. I sacked him because he weren't good enough. Sacked my own brother. Like, you've got to be you've got to be ruthless in life when it comes to business. Jesse Dyer here says it's actually true. but your cerebral cortex doesn't fully develop until 25. Cerebral cortex. Yeah, my brain didn't realize it. It's, it's true. I don't say things that are not true. That's not actually, that's a lie, actually. I do make some things up. Some stories aren't true. 9 out of AFC's 11 are 24 and under. How can they win? No Arsenal midfielder can break the lines or beat a man, is what Brent has
That's
got
a lie.
to say.
Thomas Partey can move on.
Okay. So based off of last year, Brighton can't score, but when they apply the same logic to Arsenal, you can't do that, they said. I cannot speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. It is true. It is true.
Yeah.
Man Like Monster here says, I told them Arteta is a bum. Man Like Monster.
Nothing new, Monster.
the house.
No one was backing Arteta in that argument, except for Harry, right?
What?
No, everybody was saying that he could
No.
be great. You all did.
It's not
No,
a bum,
I
man.
said
It's not a
I
bum.
said that he
Jess,
would
you
be a
said-
great
Jess,
manager.
Jess, you
Yeah.
said that you believe Arteta is going to win the treble and surpass Fergie. I heard you. You said that.
Oh, that's what I said. You
Jokes,
need to go to
people.
an ear doctor quick because you did not
I
hear
nearly
the
had a
right
heart attack, Jess, from those
No,
words.
Jess,
Yeah,
Jess,
no, don't worry,
honestly.
she's not that deluded. She might be deluded, not that deluded.
No, but see, that's
No.
the thing. It's like Monstars here in the comments, like making little things, but we got down to the nitty gritty of what your issue is. And Arsenal fans said
You got
something you
hurt,
didn't like,
basically.
and
You got really
you
hurt.
retaliated. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, so-
Relax. Calm
I just-
down.
I just want to ask a question. When we look back at this 4 games, are we gonna be very upset about this one game, or are we gonna actually be like, you know what?
No,
They're-
I think-
Can I say something here? For me, the problem with Arteta is when it comes to these kinds of games, why does he then not rely upon everything he's building this team to become? Like, why does the press always go? Why do we not come out of our blocks? Why don't we? Because we're Arsenal Football Club. And if he's talking about this winning culture, this mentality, this competitiveness in the squad, but then when we come across a Brighton, a Liverpool, a Man City, we seem to just lose all of that. That's my concern. It's just
so risky
if you're going to
about
do it, keep it consistent. I'm not saying
Yeah.
do a Northern and Derby level pressing and everything, but just keep it consistent.
Souls, do you know what it comes down to? And I know he's not everybody's favorite Arsenal fan because I know it can be rash. I know it can be harsh. But this is why people likely gonna say, I'm not buying into the PR, the process, that this is the winning culture, the winning mentality, the English core, the German core. All he's really saying, but he's just probably, I'm paraphrasing, I'm kind of boiling down what I hear from Lee. It's, I want to believe what you believe, but show me it first.
I want to see it. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. That's how I feel about God. If God opens up the sky and says, yo, Flewers, I'm here, I'll believe tomorrow. Until you can prove it to me 100%, I can't believe it. All the stories, the books, you know what I mean? The water to wine stuff, you know what I mean? Cheers. I ain't believing it because show me. And that's how I am about life. And that's what Lee's doing. Basically, Lee thinks about Arsenal like I think about God.
Terry, can I answer Egal's question really quick just before I go? Because I have to go real quick.
Yeah, go on.
No, it's a draw. And it's still inconclusive whether or not we're going to go on this really, really bad run. Of course, you give it big when you go against Spurs and you win the way that you know, you're going to feel really good about it. And now people are going to come and talk shit about us. It is what it is. That's how it happens. I mean, we still drew the game. I think almost everybody else who played against them lost, you know, so we'll see what happens. But I'm still kind of like in that, let's see what happens. Like, you know, we still have, it was this game, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, and Leeds. Now he still has to get 2 wins, you know, and I thought Brighton was a sure win.
On
So
that concern as well, I think maybe we could look back at this game and after 38 games of playing, you know, this is the game that we could have missed out on the top 6 or the top 4. So you never know how it's going to cost us.
I think there's loads of ways of looking at it. I think one of them is very much going to be the case of. Oh, sorry, I'll come back to you in a sec. Wax is it's 2 ways of looking at it. It's undefeated. It's 10 points from 12, which is very good. But then the best team you played dominated you. The team that, you know, there's multiple ways. I would say, I think Jess is bang on. It's a draw. There's some improvements, but let's not get carried away, which is all anybody said to anybody last week. But I understand the timing of those comments were, we just won the North London derby. We smashed Tottenham. We want to celebrate. and that's cool. And I just think there's time for level-headedness in relation to that. Jess, I know you've got to go, and Samuel, thank you for coming on as well. I'm going to bring ShoXstar and Gooner Express in with us now as well. Thank you very much indeed. ShoXstar's here. Thank you, Samuel. Gooner Express is here as well. Make sure you're smashing that like button. Get any super chat questions in that you want for the boys as well. Dare I say it here? Says Arsenal could have given you Kelleher on a 2-year loan deal with an option to buy for 45 million. Ramsdale is not better than him, no joke. I'll be honest with you. I think Ramsdale's been pretty damn good. I want to get ShoXstar's views on today, mate. Give me your opinions, brother.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sit here and say anything that's not worthy. Like it was a shit show. I can't lie to you. Like I think I'm one of the most optimistic Arsenal fans, and I came out and I said, yeah. I'm not going to say I said we was back. I'm not saying that at all, but I was very, very positive for this game. I came out yesterday. I was on a space with all of the big dons on Twitter and that, and I came out. Egal, you was there, man. I came out and I said, yo, we're winning this 2-1 or 3-1. 2-0 or 3-1. We're going to win by a 2-goal deficit. I'm looking at my Twitter right now and it's a fucking mess. I know I have some hella smoke to go back to, but I'll take it on myself. Here's what it is. Terry, we spoke about this last week, yeah, and I always said, like, if I say something and it doesn't necessarily come to fruition, I will take it. And you know what? It's just me being a fan. Us looking at this game from the outside in before we played this game, hands-on win. I don't care. It's fucking Brighton. Like, really and truly, go and look at what their squad is worth compared to ours. It's Brighton. I know they've got Graham Potter, big up Gooner Express, because that is a massive advocate of this manager right here, yeah? Like, Graham Potter, he sings his fucking praises. But in terms of that, I don't care. We should have smashed this game. Souls, I need to call you out, bro, because you said something, and this is where I go in the Arsenal fans, right? You said, you, bro, you said, I don't understand why they're playing Lokonga next to Partey, right? Right, okay. 2 weeks ago, what was every single Arsenal fan saying, bro?
Mm-hmm. I didn't say to play them two. I never say play them two.
Bro,
I've never said it.
About 96% of the Arsenal fans were all asking for Partey and Lokonga partnership. Tell me.
I never said it. I said for the derby, you bring Xhaka back. I said you bring him straight back in for the derby. And I've said we will miss Xhaka because the one thing Xhaka offers you is control. That's the one thing we didn't get in this game. Yes, he's rash. Yes, he's got a red card. Yes, he's got a mistake. I accept all of that. I want him sold, by the way. Like, just so people know, I'm not a Xhaka fan or a stan. Right. But what he offers us at the moment is something we don't have, which is we didn't control that game. But what El Neni would do is be like, all right, look, we're not.
That's another thing right there. Was you one of them man that's saying, El Neni needs to be sold in the summer, even when January? Hold on, one second. Let me ask you another question. When the transfer window closed and we got that last minute bid from a Turkish side, when was it? Fenerbahce? Was it Fenerbahce? Or yeah, it was Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce came in. Certain man was saying, don't worry about the cover. Sell El Neni now for 5 million. Everyone was saying these things, right?
No, 100%. But that's because he's on his final year. No. But he's in the final year of his contract, so that's why.
Absolutely wild.
No. What? How's it wild? Because I've never said that we don't need him. Whilst he's here, use him. Why not use him? We're not sold him. He's not gone.
What would you be complaining about? If you weren't here, what would you be complaining about?
If we won, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I just don't like Lokonga Partey together. I've said that. Even if they win, I'm going to say that.
Do you know what? That often to say you don't like it.
Do you know what I find interesting? Do you know what I find?
Asking for it.
Do you know what I find?
Asking for it.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
Guys, you know what I find really interesting as an outsider looking in at Arsenal, and I'm going to go to Express in a minute, is, and maybe it's hypocritical of me because of what I do for a job, but I find certain influencers or certain journalists write an article or say something, and it catches on. All I see is it parroted by so many people. It's if they're saying Arteta out, everyone's Arteta out. If they say El Neni's got to go, El Neni's got to go. If they then write an article going, actually, we've changed our mind because of this nuance, suddenly it's like, I see like, it's like, like lights coming on. You remember no lighty, no likey, like ding 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 ding, all the lights going off. It's like that's what I see. That's how in my head I see it. And it isn't just Arsenal, it's all fan bases. And I sit there and how I feel about it is when people phone me up and they go, "This is what I think." And I ask them a question about it, and then I get this look and I can hear their brain loading like the old internet used to, because it isn't their thought, it isn't their feeling. It's I've repeated what a really big account has said, but I don't have the background knowledge on the subject to talk about it.
I heard it, I liked it, so
and that's what I see, and that's what I see a lot.
Yes,
it's like I'm saying it because someone, and I'm not saying like don't follow these people, because I follow a lot of people, and I'm not saying don't listen to their opinions, but it's like have your own thought process.
Exactly,
and that's what I feel comes. That's what I feel like happens. I'm not saying that's you, Souls, or you, Egal, or Wax, or any of you men on here. I see that a lot, and I'm like, no one was saying that 2 weeks ago, and now it's like. That's what the whole world is saying, and I notice it with this is what the way trends work, and I've seen it happen to my channel where it's like I have a certain opinion, and everyone's like you're chatting nonsense. Then my opinion becomes popular, and everyone fluctuates here and goes, "Yeah, Terry's been saying it for weeks," and I'm like, I got angry during the Glazer out campaign because I'm like, "Whoa, I've been saying this for 5 years, pricks. Why are you all coming in now? I didn't want anyone involved." I'm a bit like that. My favorite singer is a guy called Lamar, right? He's never had
keep talking about Lamar, bro.
I always will. I'm trying to help grow him, right? But do you know what happened? If he blew up tomorrow, say he brought out an album, or say he did Strictly Come Dancing and become really popular.
I told you about Lamar.
I'd be the other way. I'd stop supporting him. I'd be like, no, I liked it when it was just me and him. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm the only man buying his album. Why are you guys here now? Because it's popular. And that's my point. I don't like being a sheep. If something becomes popular, I don't even like being part of it.
You like to go against the grain. You go against the grain.
Sort of. It's more like, no, I like to have my own thoughts. And it's sort of like, I know the Glazer out issue. Everyone rejected it for months, and now they're all Glazer out. And I'm like, I'm not getting involved with you lot because you lot don't. But that's because you lot don't believe in it. You're not believing in the movement. You're not believing in the.
I'll tell you something about.
And one sec, bro. You're believing in the trend. You're on the trend. You don't believe in what you're saying, and it bothers me. That's probably why I was so triggered a lot of this week, because I was like, I know you guys don't believe what you're saying. It's because it gets you likes and retweets, and I want to get in with the in crowd. Fuck the in crowd. If they don't like you now, why do you want to be in with them? Why do you want to be? Why do you want? Why do you want some blue tick? Why do you want some big YouTuber? Why do you want some massive influencer to like you? If we don't like you, be yourself. Be yourself always.
I'm with you.
Be yourself always.
I'm with you.
That's a fact for life right there.
And listen, Souls, please don't ever get it twisted. I'm not coming for you. I heard what you said in it, and to me, when I heard that was the red flag straight.
Like, no. I get why people. I know what I said is going to get me a lot of hate, but I stand by it. I've always said Partey Lokonga don't work. You can't have a midfield of basically twins that do the same thing that aren't going to offer you much defensive cover. They're not like Lokonga can become Partey's partner, but just not right now.
I hear you on that. Gooner Express, I know you've been sitting there nice and patiently now for about 7-8 minutes. I actually got told what your nickname was this week in the Arsenal community. I'd never heard this before. I got told what your nickname was.
What's the nickname?
Like a variation of like League Gunner Light, Little League Gunner, League Gunner Son.
Bro, I've never heard that still.
No,
bro.
I love the amount of people that were telling me, and I'm like, because everyone knows I got called out this week by Arsenal fans for not having enough Arsenal fans.
You gotta hear him rap.
And I was sort of like, I had these people on, and they were like, yeah, but not like they were like, yeah, but everyone looks at like Gooner Express as being like a mini league gunner, and I was sort of like, I don't even see you as a say. I was like, I speak to both of you on the regs, and I'm like, I didn't even put that together, but yeah. So over to you, Gooner Express, aka League Gunner's son.
I mean, I'll say it like this, yeah. The point that you just made, Terry, on the whole opinion thing, I stand by that for like a lot. Like I say a lot of things that a lot of Arsenal fans do not like me saying. Like they hate me for saying it, but I'm going to say it because it's my opinion. And one thing I'll say, right, with the most respect that I can give to every panelist on here, there's been some howlers on the terrace recently about Arsenal. Absolute howlers. This thing about Arteta becoming one of the greatest managers in our history, I know it's a take it with a pinch of salt kind of moment, but this generational manager who some fans genuinely believe can become as good as a George Graham or an Arsene Wenger just got outclassed by Graham Potter, who so many Arsenal fans have called shit for the last 3 years. I've been one of the only people to actually say that Graham Potter's a good manager. He's better than Arteta. Today he proved it, right? You look at Brighton, people are just acting like they had their best team today. They didn't. Where was Basuma? Lamptey? Webster wasn't there either. Welbeck neither. So they had 4 of their main players out today, and they still performed to a high level. They still proved that even without Basuma, they can still put a fight up in that midfield. Lallana was doing bits today. Lallana, who everyone calls finished, right? So this is what worries me about Arsenal. We've said so many times as Arsenal fans, if we lose Thomas Partey, we're screwed. Brighton fans, when they lost Basuma, they didn't care. They were like, yeah, well, it's a miss, but it's not that damning. And it's proved it. With a good manager, you can lose certain players and still play to a system. You should not build a system around a player. You should build a system around a system. Like, you should just have a system of football and you build players around that. Brighton, they've lost Ben White. Has it affected them? No. It's barely even affected them at all. Whereas if we were to lose Gabriel, we'd be screwed. So it just proves again that this whole Project Youth thing that so many Arsenal fans have been saying is the best thing for us, it's not. And you made a great point, Terry, about this needed Elderman thing. I was saying this the whole way through the summer. We need senior players. We need a Basuma who, yeah, he's still relatively young, but he's Premier League experienced. He's been here for years. He's proved that he can do it at a higher level. And let's be honest, Basuma needs to join a better club. He's too good for Brighton at this point. We need players that can walk into this team. I said we should keep Luiz. I was one of the main people saying, keep David Luiz. Just have him around so he can give experience to people. And people were saying, no, he's crap. Well, I'm sorry, but again, it's proved it. This team is too young. You can't have a whole team pretty much of under 23 players. And I think, like you said, 9 of the 11 players today are under 24 years old. It's not sustainable. It isn't, because look at Saka. He looks burnt out to me, even though he still performs at a good level. He looks burnt out. The next is he's already been burnt out once while playing for Arsenal. Martinelli, where is he? I'm sorry. Everyone told me that Arteta doesn't have an issue with him, whatever else. Well, he does. Where's Martinelli? Why is he not coming on today? We need a goal, and he brings on Maitland-Niles and Pepe, who Pepe, a lot of fans say isn't good enough. So where's Martinelli? Why are we not complaining about that? And the one more thing I want to add is when Unai Emery was Arsenal manager, and in no way, shape or form am I trying to say bring him back or anything, but when he was Arsenal manager, a lot of Arsenal fans, including myself, criticised the amount of shots we conceded. We might not have conceded a goal, but we criticised the amount of shots conceded. I want the same energy today. We conceded 8 shots in the first half. Never mind shots on target. We conceded 8 first half. So where's that same energy? This is what I'm saying. Like, look, the only good players today for me were Ramsdale, Gabriel, and White. I'm a massive critic of White, but he did play well today, especially to say that he's going against his old club, which a lot of former players, they get flustered when they play against their old club, and he did well today. But for me, it's not good enough. I want Arteta gone, even after Tottenham. I never said Arteta in. I never said that, and that's like, it's just not good enough, Terry. It isn't. Like, I've seen it with Ollie. And I've seen it with Arteta. And Souls, to answer the question that you ask of why does Arteta not use the things that are winning him games, is because he's not good enough. He's just not good enough. If you bring in Ten Hag, if you even bring in Graham Potter, they will use the things that they, like, again, Potter today didn't have Basuma, but he used the next best thing, which was like Pascal Gross and Lallana, and it somewhat worked. So for me, get rid of the manager, get someone in who's competent enough to do a job, because these players are good enough to get top 6. I'm sorry, they are good enough. Whether we want to say they're not or whatever else, they're good enough. So it's about time that we prove that.
Mate, listen, I make you right. And do you know what doesn't help? It's like I listened to Alan Smith in commentary today saying, oh, Arsenal don't normally leak this many shots. And I'm like, I did the research the other day. So far this season, you've averaged 16.4 shots conceded per game. Last season, you were better, and it was around 10 shots per game you actually conceded. Season before that, it's all under Arteta. In the time he took over from the November to the end of the season, it was 14 shots per game. So this season is your worst season so far, and it may level out. It may level out because we're only 7 games in, but it's the worst season under Arteta so far for shots conceded. In terms of shots inside the box, again, you normally average. The last 2 years, you've averaged 6 and 7 per game. This season you're averaging 8. But I'm not saying that's a problem, major problem. I'm just saying, you've got comments that go, oh, Arsenal don't normally concede chances and opportunities. I'm like, why are you indoctrinating people with that nonsense? It's a lie. It's a bona fide lie. And I'm just annoyed. Do you know what I'm annoyed about it with is people don't realize what I care about and why the football terrace exists in its capacity now. It's for fans to speak, fans to have their say. But I kept like, do you know why for the last 5 years I've fought so hard for Arsenal to be treated properly as a football club? I'm a Man United fan. I've got no love for Arsenal, but I don't like to. Football clubs are working class entities that were created by the working class. I don't like seeing how our owners have treated us. It frustrates the living daylights out of me. When I see people, though, like buying into the nonsense, like I said today, I think Ollie's got to go at Man United. He's taken us as far as he can. He's helped build things behind the scenes. He's helped build transfer structures, processes, and all this stuff. It's great. But coaching-wise, we're limited out. Now it's like full attention on the Glazers because he can't sack himself, can he? Like, he can't sack himself. He can't. He can resign, but he ain't going to do that. So the owners now have got to say, we want to go to the next level. Thank you. Good night. God bless. And then you go and get a better manager as an example. But the fans don't want to pull on that because if you're against your owners, it means going to games, buying the shirts, buying the merch, propping the club. You can't do that if you're against the club. So people stop short. They go, manager's about as far as I'll go. If I go any further, then I'm a proper hypocrite, aren't I? Because I can't be like, the Cronkies are ruining the club, and then I buy a ticket. You can't do those two things. I think that's how people feel. Personally, it's like, I can't go all in that the club's a disgrace and then still use it. Do you know what I mean? We see that in society. Oh, I'm anti-capitalistic. I've just bought a new iPhone. What? Like, that's why no one takes those people seriously. Do you know what I mean? The person, I read in the paper the other day, the person who is like the leader of all those weird climate people that like sit on the roads and that.
He's not even insulated. It's all
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What are they called? What's the group called?
Insulate Britain.
Yeah.
You got Insulate Britain as the other one. The ones that were in London back in the summer. What are they called?
The ones that were sitting in front of the fucking traffic lights.
Yeah, those guys.
Oh, I know who you mean.
They've got a name, right? Anyway, the leader of them still drives a diesel car. He drives a diesel car. Like, so that's my point. That's my point. That's why I don't. That's why I don't take. I don't take those kind of people seriously. The same as when people say, "I'm cronky out, but I've got a season ticket." Is it Extinction Rebellion? Yeah, them man. Yeah, my point is, I'm like this. I respect your opinion that you can say Cronky out, Glaze it out, FSG out. When you buy the shirt and you turn up at the ground and you give them your money, you don't really want them out because you going to the game is more important than them being out the club. And that's why like there's no pressure. And that's my point. Even though Arteta are out, guys, you're going to the games. I don't believe you.
Look at Gooner X just sitting in there. His new away kit right now.
Bro, it's nice, man. Look,
I'm not judging you. I'm not judging any one individual person. I don't care. It's just I can't buy into it. Like I'm like, if you really care, like my son keeps asking for the United kit. No. I have to tell him
you ain't getting it tonight, boys.
I have to tell the kids. I have to tell them no. Like I have to, but that's just my take. My view.
I'm gonna teach him young.
Guys, I feel like it's fresh. We just drew to Brighton. Obviously, everyone's going to be upset. Everyone's going to talk about how we could have done better. But in the grand scheme of things, since the international break, we won 3 games. We drew 1. We move on.
Yeah. And don't forget, it's going to be another 2 weeks where Arteta's going to say it's the best 2 weeks of my life. So we're all right.
He's probably going to win Manager of the Month. And people prepare yourselves for that too.
No, but I agree. I don't think there's a reason to have a meltdown. Like if we lost today, then maybe, arguably. But we drew, and a draw. And Terry, you asked me this question last week when I came on after the Tottenham game. You know, is that Tottenham performance a base where we should be looking and saying that's how we should perform every game? And I said yes, because it should. But what it says, not issue, but like the thing that I'm a bit upset about is I look back at that game now and I think, was that just a freak accident in a sense? Like, was that just a freak performance? What? Even though this is what I'm saying. I want that. And I think we have the quality to perform to that level every single game. And that's what I said last week. But when you look at it now, when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, that is a freak performance. We weren't the greatest against Burnley, but we scraped to win, which I'm okay with. Same thing for Norwich. We then smashed Spurs and then just drew to Brighton. So in that 4-game period, that is the freak game. For me, a draw's fine. I'll take it when you look at the way that we played and the way they played. And like Egal said, you move on. You know, we have to now win the next game. We have to now get some sort of credibility back, I guess, because now teams are going to look back at Arsenal and say, oh, they're just back to normal Arsenal. So
but I think that benefits.
1 second, quick question.
No, I agree with that.
Did we miss Xhaka?
Yes.
I'll say, yeah, we did. Yeah. Because if you look at it
I
like
want
this,
better. I want better. But for now, I do think
Yeah.
we.
I think you missed Xhaka, but they missed Web. They missed
Basuma, yeah.
and Webster.
Mhm.
And that's the thing I was saying the other day, right? There's always context. I'm someone that likes context is important at times, but sometimes it's overused, and I think sometimes you have to have this thing. So I was looking at these stats the other day, and it's like, you know, Man United between November and March are the best team in the world. Cool. But what happened to why weren't we the best before that? Before that, we had 5 players out. After that, we had 3 players out. Cool. But in that time period where we were the best, what players did all the other teams have out? Mm-hmm. What we do as fans, we do the research, but we do 1/20th of the research. We don't factor in what everybody else is going through during our good periods. And my view is becoming like this on football. If you have to go into like scientific and mathematical like details and nth degrees to prove your point's bullshit.
That's not what I was asking, though.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying the extremities that people go, and I think I've been guilty of doing that in the past, where it's like, if we could win like 1 more game in 10, we'd do this and do that. And it's like, maybe we should just be focusing more on the performances, because if the performances are more consistent, the wins are more consistent. And if the system is working better, you can handle 2 or 3 players being out and still deliver, especially when you're Arsenal, Tottenham, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Like, our squads are so rich and wealthy in terms of salaries and their valuation. We don't have the same excuses the lesser teams have when they have 1 or 2 injuries. We don't have the same excuses, and I think we try to sometimes. We've all been guilty of that, including me. But that is the end of the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Part of Jess coming on tonight is I've posted the link in the comment section. Now go and support Jess's match reaction show that's going live now. More will be revealed on that a little bit later on. I can't go into too much detail about.
You're not going to shout me too, bro?
Yeah, cool. Listen, I can't go into too much detail live on air about that, but go and support that now. Smash the like button before you leave. Normally it can redirect, but it's not letting me do it for some weird reason. Until next time, people, take care of yourselves. I'm going to pin the comment, actually, so you can go click on the link now. Until next time, take care.
Someone's getting clipped tonight. Just know that, innit? Like,
everyone's getting clipped tonight. That's the terrorists. What we do, we clip you to get you baited up. Do you know what I mean? Because we want to bully you. That's what we do. We're bullies.
That's my guy,
until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll